Hey everyone, I'm just going to give you a heads up that I'm doing a voiceover, so the audio is not going to sync up with what I'm saying, but this is Frankie, and I just want to go over and show that his ends, are in dire need of a haircut, and he needs some really, really good shaping, and he's got a ton of hair, and what I'm going to highlight in this video is really a great layered haircut to give him a lot more shape, something that really the haircut is going to be doing most of the work, and it's going to be pulled out from the head. That's my standard kind of haircut technique for hair like this. And what I'm going to be doing is beginning now with the haircut. So I'm sectioning this hair right down the middle, and I try for haircuts like this to maintain to make it like very balanced. I try to make sure that cutting it in the middle is going to ensure it's evenly balanced. And that's going to give him the flexibility to, flip his hair around. And I will cross-check and double-check on each side to make sure that it's well-balanced and even. But by cutting the hair down the middle, and if you're a professional watching this, this is where I'm creating the division point, which separates the front from the back. It's ideal to do this because what this is doing, it's mapping out the haircut and giving me a clearer picture of where to take this, how to approach it, and all that good stuff. So the thing about, haircuts like this is, I've always mentioned before, precision is key. And the way to be more precise is literally by creating a solid roadmap, okay? A solid roadmap of how you're gonna, do the haircut. If you are a client watching this, this probably isn't as important. However, if you are observing how the person cutting your hair is working, and they aren't doing these things, or they aren't being very thorough, or they don't seem confident, especially for a haircut like this. This is not a haircut that you walk into a barber shop to get, or a hair salon, a chain hair salon that takes 15 minutes to cut your hair. This is not one of those haircuts, all right? Now, can they do it? Probably. Who knows? I have no idea. But in my experience, and as somebody who's been cutting hair for a very long time, chances are you just need a lot more extra time to really bring home that client experience. So what I'm doing now is establishing, and please leave me the super tips. I really appreciate that. It's kind of like if I was giving you a haircut, you're leaving me a tip here. That's awesome. What I'm doing here is establishing the length. And you could see that I'm creating the foundation and the guideline. And by chipping in and point cutting, that just adds a little bit of softness. I'm not a huge point cut guy. Most of my lines are a bit more solid. I may go back in when the hair's dry, but you can see how I've created the angle where it's going, shorter in the front and then slightly longer in the back. That's going to keep that flow going. Now, depending on how short you want to go, could I have gone shorter in the back in those corners? Sure. I may take some of that off when I'm creating the layers, but with any haircut, the foundation, and I learned that early on when I was cutting hair, the foundation is the most important part of the entire haircut. So now I'm going to start with the layers. Now, the layering really depends on you as the client of how short you want to go. Just a warning sign, if you cut the layers too short and leave the hair really, really long in the back, like you're actually creating a very unbalanced haircut, then it's not going to look greatest. So what I'm doing is I'm holding the hair straight up from the head, or from where the hair grows, I should say, and I'm making sure that the length that I choose for the layers is going to be very well balanced to work in through and blend in through the rest of the haircut properly. So this is kind of my secret money technique when I'm doing layers, is I'm taking a section based off of that guide, and now I'm going to cut that straight up and straight out from where the hair grows. This is going to ensure, look how I'm holding on. See, I'm holding on. to that section right there, that's going to keep you connected. And now I'm going to cut that once again straight across. So now I've just created 3 sections that are perfectly even. We're going for even Steven here. Remember that, even Steven. So those 3 layered sections right there are going to ensure that it's 100% balanced. So what I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side or the other panel, left side, right side. So I'm going to comb the hair straight up from the head. I'm going to cut, about maybe an inch off. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm holding on to the previous section. That is what you need. That is the guide. The guide is is like your Google Maps, right? For directions. That's what the guide is for. You can see the underneath piece, and I'm gonna take, I'm gonna connect both sides just to make sure it's balanced. And sometimes, yes, you may see a piece here or there that's a little unbalanced, and you just snip it off to make sure it's all even. So I'm combing it all down, and now this is where you connect that part. So you can see I'm pulling it straight out from where the hair grows. I'm making sure it's blended and connected, and I'm going to follow that all the way down to the bottom. I'm not over directing and bringing the bottom all the way up, because if you're one of those clients who always wonders why their hair is so heavy, it's because people over elevate and bring the hair from the very bottom all the way to the top, and they don't cut anything. And what that does is that leaves a ton of weight. So this is essential. I'm speeding this up here. This is essential for making sure every single hair on that head is cut. Right now I'm going in on a vertical diagonal. This also is a great way to blend and see the haircut from a different approach. This is where you're able to say, oh, wow, this looks kind of heavy in through here. I need to go a little bit shorter. And notice how I'm really just, I'm not putting myself in really an awkward position with my body. I'm making sure that I'm keeping a stable body position. So don't forget now, we have to still work the back into the top. This is how you connect that point into the back into the top. It's very, very essential that you do this step, all right? This has to blend in. This is where everything counts right here. So I'm combing it straight up. There is the guide from the back. And all I'm doing is connecting vertically. I always connect vertically. I never connect horizontally, because you run the risk of creating a slight line in the back. So what I'm doing is I'm literally just connecting it vertically to make sure that it's following the head shape. And sometimes that little piece right there that I'm cutting, believe it or not, makes a ton. Now you can see it makes a ton of difference. Even if it's half an inch long, 2 inches, whatever it is, that connection will now allow you to follow that roadmap forward to create a really, really, really solid blend, okay? The word blend is very important with layering. So when I layer the top, I always cut the top, aka the top or the middle, the corners, and then the sides. So now I'm cutting horizontally because I've already made the connection. And because I'm a Virgo perfectionist, I will go back in to double check to make sure it's fully balanced. And don't ever be afraid to go back in if you're a professional and double check your work. Now, if you're a client and you want to really be hardcore about this, you could actually go home and take a comb, and you could actually check this haircut yourself to check for balance. Nothing wrong with that. And if you feel your hair is not laying properly, you'll be able to tell right away when you check and you see that things are off. So now I'm cutting the corners. And this is the corners of where the round of the head is on the sides. You can see right in through there. And now I'm working into the sides. So you can see how the sides, I'm pulling it straight out, and there we go. All the way to the bottom. Let those hairs drop out, because that's the length. You don't want to cut any of that length. If you do, you're going to create a hole. So now I go back up to the corner. I'm blending the top in through the corner. Now I'm going to be cutting that into the sides. and I'm literally just cutting the hair that needs to come off. Now, for this particular shape, again, or for this haircut on Frankie, I'm really trying to create more of a new balance, because I recall him saying that he liked his length and he just wanted to really clean up and create, a good proper shape, which he didn't have before. So now as I'm going into this part, it's important that you kind of pull the hair back slightly and over direct, because you can see in the temple, that's where the hair is a bit finer. And if you have some disconnection there, you may actually create a hole as well. So I'm over directing and I'm making sure I have all that in one section, and I'm keeping it a bit, pulled back slightly. And that's going to protect that length. You always want to protect the foundation, okay? The foundation of the haircut is the most important. You don't have to cut, a foot of hair off to make sure you've got a good haircut, all right? Now, what I'm checking for is just balance. I'm checking for the shape, and I'm going to do the same thing now on the other side. Don't forget, you have to do the other side. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm really just running my fingers through the whole thing. And yes, I did cut the other side. I just skipped through it, but I did the same thing on the other side. And this is really the client experience with the haircut, is going in. Now, this video alone is longer than sometimes people take on doing haircuts. I'm flipping the hair around. I'm checking to make sure, we're in good shape. It can go in different directions. The balance is there. And this is all while the hair is wet. Yeah, look at it. I can fling the hair. You can fling the hair back. And this is why it's so essential to make sure that when you're getting your hair cut, the person doing it is very, very thorough, especially on longer hair types. Doesn't matter, male, female, whatever. It's very important. Now, I use Tidal Wave as a pre-styling product, and you can go with my blow dryer. I do have, this is not my blow dryer. This is again, I'm doing a voiceover on this. I do have my own blow dryer, which is a lot better than this one, to be honest with you. But what I'm doing now is just letting the Tidal Wave do all the work, and the blow dry and the haircut. The haircut is doing the work. That is what people need for a good haircut shape, all right? It's giving it that kind of tousled, messy texture. You could see the flow is there, even though it's a little bit messy in a sense. It's a little bit messy. It's also very symmetrical and well-balanced. Very well-balanced, right? Right. He's agreeing. Look at that. He's agreeing. He can feel it. If you as a client can feel and appreciate a good haircut or any job you're getting done, you will appreciate quality and you'll appreciate all the time taken. And you could see where the hair is falling with those layers. If I cut it any shorter, it would not flow from the shorter parts in the front to the longer parts in the back. Could I have done this shorter? Of course. Could I have left this, I really couldn't have left it much longer but I did as best I could with maintaining the length with cleaning it up. Okay, so again, the haircut's doing all the work. Let me know in the comments below if you have this haircut. If you're a professional watching this, if you're a client watching this, I'd love to know if you got a lot out of this. If you want to use any of my products, you can use code YouTube20. That's YouTube20 at shop.thesalonguy.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.